Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, and this is your Cannabis Business Podcast. Today, we're going to dive into a BDS Analytics report about the top 5 exercises with cannabis, highlighting an active cannabis lifestyle, which is appropriate because Dan Chemist with good CBD products is in California. Nothing says California like an active cannabis lifestyle.
Roam if you want to, Chronic. Roam around the world.
Yes, sir. So this article goes on to say that to some, cannabis and exercise may seem like an unlikely pairing, but those in the know understand that cannabis in its various forms can serve as a great pre, during, and post-workout supplement. So these top 5 insights from BDS Analytics counter the lazy stoner stereotype and show that cannabis often is a welcome addition to cannabis workout routines. I personally use cannabis in the morning. A little fire to the bowl helps alleviate some inflammation, some stiffness, soreness. Allows me to stay in the zone, but not feel out of whack. So the number one insight so far we're going to touch on is that cannabis consumers are health conscious. Roughly 4 in 10 watch what they eat for health reasons and highly prioritize their personal health and wellness. We're actually seeing that a lot in the rec market, where a lot of people are using recreational cannabis for medicinal purposes. And so this kind of goes into play with that.
Yeah, you can't make any claims or anything, right? Personally, I find cannabis very helpful with regards to being stiff, sore, and I got a lot of pain, Chronic. I got a lot of pain, brother. It helps. At least it helps me.
Yeah, ditto. It helps me as well. I'm broken from football as well, and just old injuries and whatever. But I was at Walgreens yesterday. I was trying to find these coconut cookies. They're like round cylindrical cookies that are hollow in the middle, and you can dip them in like almond butter. Woo-wee, it's good stuff. So I'm running around trying to find these gluten-free coconut cookies, and I see that there's an essential oil mask, and it has claims on there about, happy, relaxation, basically just stealing it from cannabis. They're able to make claims, I think, because it's not an ingestible product. So if you have something that's a face mask or topical, maybe you're able to get away with that. I don't know, but definitely hypocrisy if nothing else.
Yeah. Well, let's face it. Again, find yourself maybe a little bit stigmatized for being a cannabis guy, right?
Definitely. So this is not the second highlight from BDS Analytics for an active cannabis lifestyle is cannabis is viewed as a healthier alternative. So more than 6 in 10 consumers believe marijuana is healthier than alcohol versus 1 1/3 of acceptors and 1/10 of rejectors. So I think that goes along with live rosin. We're seeing 300 to 400% increases in live rosin because of the perception that it's healthier than other vape pen alternatives. And so cannabis in general is viewed as a healthier alternative to opioids and pain medications, as well as just a lack of trust, I think, in regular products that you would put on as a topical. Without naming names, the transdermal patches with CBD and cannabis are probably going to be better than traditional forms of that stinky old, topicals that people are using. The perception is that it's healthier, more natural.
I think the market is in a place where today, if you have less additives in whatever it is you're making, the market likes that, I think. That's what I see.
100% agree with you. The less additives you have, the better. And you can see that with cannabis consumers purchasing behaviors with, the RX bar, a competitor to, other energy bars. They only have 5 ingredients in there. And so it's gluten and dairy free and other, buzzwords, but less than 5 ingredients. So spot on with that one. The third point to this topic of an active cannabis lifestyle from BDS Analytics is that cannabis consumers are active. So 50% say that physical activity plays an important role in their personal care, and 58% engage in physical activity at least on a weekly basis, a significantly greater percentage than non-cannabis consumers.
That's interesting. Again, the perception, right? What's the perception of your stoner homie?
Yeah, that old lazy stoner stereotype is outdated. It's definitely not the case. There's a lot of people who microdose or use sativa that are able to be active and mobile especially with the anti-inflammatory properties of a good 1-to-1 CBD to THC ratio. For me, that's a euphoric, energetic, uplifting experience while still maintaining your, cognitive abilities. You're still able to work and focus and yet not be held back by a lot of the physical ailments and pains. So I would definitely agree that it's at least 50% play an active role. Everybody I know is not a lazy stoner. They're very much entrepreneurs and physically active.
Yeah, I don't see too many anymore. I really don't. Where somebody's got the the game controller in their hand, they're eating the Cheetos, and they're lodged in the couch. I think that's an old stereotype.
Definitely outdone, outplayed, burnt out. So the fourth point for this BDS Analytics top 5 exercise and cannabis article is that daily consumers, younger consumers, are more likely than average to incorporate cannabis into their workouts. So a quarter of all consumers who use cannabis daily say that they frequently pair cannabis with exercise. And similarly, 22% of Gen Z and millennial consumers say that they frequently pair cannabis with exercise, which is roughly equal to the percentage who frequently pair cannabis with alcohol. I don't really know what to say about that because a lot of people I know, if I'm on a rooftop party and people are drinking and they see I'm smoking, they come over and they feel like that's the appropriate time to try cannabis, and it's not. You're going to get the spins. It's just a bad idea to pair alcohol and cannabis at any time. But we are seeing that the younger generations have a more disposable income that they're using for cannabis. So they're spending less, but buying more frequently at the rec shops. And so apparently they're more active though. So definitely kind of using cannabis instead of, maybe pain medicines or alcohol. They're incorporating cannabis into their daily lifestyle.
It's a little tangential, but I've interviewed 6 policemen now since the beginning of the summer. And one of the things that keeps coming up is that cannabis by itself is not really a concern. It's, alcohol plus any other drug, one of them being cannabis. And I just find myself once again reviewing that whole thing of alcohol, 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 right? Bars on the side of the road, no cannabis cafes anywhere. Very interesting times.
Yeah, there should be a cannabis cafe, but that's a podcast topic for another day. This fifth and final point of the BDS Analytics is inhalable products are the overall preferred consumption method. At 69% among consumers who frequently pair cannabis with exercise, they prefer an inhalable. And then close behind that is 1/4 say they prefer edibles. I know that Fridays that used to be between the hours of 3 and 5, a third of all edibles were sold on Friday afternoon. So people that at the end of the week that wanted one thing, they were going to eat it, they were going to be high all night, and then wake up nice and relaxed, versus somebody who wants to smoke, at their lunch break or after work or daily or whatever. An inhalable is something that's going to not have that smell. It's going to be low key. They're not going to have a joint in their hand or a pipe or whatever. So having some inhalable that doesn't really smell is definitely a matter of convenience. The discreetness is one of the biggest factors. So the fact that they can be discreet and have the convenience factor of being able to put it in your pocket, unlike a pre-roll or joint. So inhalables, 69%, definitely among the highest purchases. We see a lot of pre-rolls still though. We just released a podcast yesterday. Are you a pre-roll snob? Have to see what goes into making a high-end pre-roll. Check out the Talking Hedge for all your needs. With that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out.